Good morning. Today is week 10 of the Finish Those UFQs challenge. So originally the UFQs challenge, finishing those, was only going to go through November and December. But then I decided since next quilt along in this quilt along group won't be till March, probably March 2020 at the earliest, I decided to extend this finishing of the UFQs into the new year. So if you guys wanted to print off a new sheet and start fresh, that's fine. Hi, Linda. Or if you just want to keep going with your old sheet, that's cool too. So I forgot my sheet over on my desk, but I think I'm just going to continue with my sheet from last year since I only I didn't have it fully filled out. I don't know. I may change my mind. We'll see. I did finish it before the end of the new year. I finished it on Monday or Tuesday. Finished the binding. This is my Left The Nest Quilt. I showed it to you guys last week. So gorgeous backing fabric. I love doing that on baby quilts because sometimes you can just use the 42-inch wide for the backing, and it's super awesome. So I finished this, and I used Valentine Kona Cotton for the binding. You can find this pattern in my shop. This is actually one of the most popular patterns I have had to date. You can find the throw size quilt kit at stashfabrics.com in my original colors. So the original one I made for my nephew for his graduation present, and so that's kind of why buzz on my forehead. Sorry about that. So I made the original one for my nephew for his graduation present, and so that's kind of why it's called Left the Nest, even though he hasn't quite left the nest yet, but soon. And so that quilt was very special to me, and so I made the I decided to make a baby size version just so that you guys could see what it would be like in print, because the original was all solids. So I kind of, for this one, I went from kind of darker prints to lighter prints. I used, baby size can use fat quarters, so that's cool too. And then last week I had finished one blog, but I hadn't shown it to you. My flower party quilt. This is going to be my new pattern that's going to release in January of 2020, January 28th. I finished one block. Usually I will do all the pieces at once, like all the components, all of the, squares and the corner units and everything all at once, and then I'll put all my blocks together. So I just kind of wanted to get one block done so I could give this to my testers. Thank you, Linda. And now I'm going through and making all the separate components. And when it's scrappy, it's a little more difficult to stay organized. So when I was doing mine, for each piece, I wrote the color plus 3 is block 3. So for you guys, I decided to do a sheet in the back of the pattern that says all of those printed out. So you can just print it out and cut them. If you do the larger size quilts, print out 2 sheets, cut all of them out, and then you can just pin them to your D fabrics, your C fabrics, and that way you can keep organized. So like I went through and I did all my half square triangles, and it connected all my half square triangles to the pieces they needed to connect to. I started doing the square and squares and the corner block. And then once I got to this point, I kind of put all the pieces back into their separate blocks to stay organized. And now I'm going through and I'm trying to complete these sections. So I haven't quite completed any more blocks because I'm trying to do them all at once. The throw size has 12 blocks. And because I decided for this one to use sashing and a border. So I'm using this, oh, I forget what this one's called. maybe berry. I think it's berry. And it's very similar to this color of purple. So I'm going to use this for a smaller sashing with a little bit larger border. That way you can do less blocks. Because sometimes people are like, if you have a throw size that's 4 rows by 4 blocks by 5 rows, that's 20 blocks. That's a lot of blocks. But a throw size that only has 12 blocks, it's a little more easy to wrap your head around, like, oh, that's not that bad. So the scrappy version, they're all 16-inch blocks, and the scrappy version is basically 1/3 of a yard per block. So if you're doing the throw size, you can use 6 2/3 yards. That's what I did with mine. The pattern will be released the 28th. Some people had thought that this would be the next quilt along. I am not sure. So the next quilt along won't be until March of 2020 at the earliest. So I may need to get some intestinal surgery in February. And if that's the case, I don't quite know. I haven't spoken with the surgeon yet, so I don't know how long my recovery time is. So once I figure out how long the recovery time is, then I can start planning out that next quilt along and ask you all what you guys want to do for the next quilt along. I really like the bigger blocks, Linda says. I do too. I feel like I really don't like cutting pieces smaller than 2.5 inches. I know I have done that in my Happy Flower Garden quilt. There are some pieces that are tiny. And I just prefer things that are at least 2.5 inches or bigger, just because it seems a little easier on the eyes. And then you get these big blocks and you can complete a quilt a lot faster than if your blocks are like 12 inches or 10 inches. So I'm excited to finish that. That's my goal this week, to get that top finished so I can share it with all of you. I have a couple testers that are already getting blocks done, and one already has her top done. And so I want to share that with you guys. I don't know if she shared it in the group. I know she shared it under one of my posts. She's been sharing pictures of her blocks. And so hopefully I can get that all done this week. I should be able to. My kids are still out of school, so this week I did not get as much sewing done as I usually do. Thursdays is usually like my day that I can get a lot of sewing done because I try to do most of my chores toward the beginning of the week, all the laundry and dishes and everything. But this week, since they were home, we've been doing more activities at home, like painting and cooking, making cookies and stuff. Today we have plans to make cookies, and we may tie-dye some shirts. So, you know, that takes a little bit more time, but I'm happy to be able to like spend more time with them, because now that both of them are in school, it's we don't get a lot of time together except for the weekends and at nights. And nights are usually homework and then dinner, and then you know, it's almost bedtime. So it's been a lot of fun. And then they'll get a midwinter break in February, which is cool. So they'll get a whole week off in February. But so next week, hopefully I'll have more time so I can finish up this quilt. Really excited. The fabric is Road Trip by Allison Glass, Andover Fabrics, and then the background color is Wasabi by Kona Cotton. So hopefully I can get that done. And then the next thing I want to work on next week, so I have a little nephew that is due in March, and I don't think his mom watches my videos on here, so I think I'm safe to show you guys the fabric. Hopefully not. So Sophia, if you're watching this, close your eyes or turn the video off. So here's the fabrics that I'm doing. It's kind of like an ombre of red to yellow. And then the background is this blue starry fabric. So the baby shower is not until February 1st. So once this is completed, I'm not going to be able to share it with you guys until February 1st. But I want to show you the fabrics. They're just a mixture. They're not all from one line. I just went through and tried to get print on prints in this kind of ombre color. I got them from Stash Fabrics. And so these will be the main block color, and then this will be the background color. So hopefully I can get that cut out, because I have 4 weeks. 4 weeks to finish that, completely finish it for the baby shower. So I really need to get busy on that. I know I should be working on some of my older projects, so we'll see if we have time for me to work on one of the older projects. Maybe I'll pick one that just needs a little bit, because I have my stepping stone throw size, which a stepping stone, the pattern is just a baby size. And so I decided to make 4 of the baby size squares, and then I'm sewing those 4 together with like a sashing strip to make a throw size for a couch. And so, oh, pretty nice. Thank you. I have to scroll down to see the comments sometimes. So I'm going to make a throw size. And so I have those 4 sections done, baby size quilts done, and I just need to sew those together. So maybe that's what I'll do this week, because if I baste it, the sulky temporary spray that I've been using, you need to quilt it within 2 to 5 days. So I really need to work on these 2 other quilts. So maybe I'll just work on that stepping stone and just get the top completed. Then I can actually check off that box and have that a little further progress done on that one. So I'm excited. Hopefully I can get a lot of work done this week. I'm going to try to focus and not be on Instagram and Facebook too much. I know it's hard because like I like scrolling and looking at everybody's work and stuff. On Instagram, sometimes you get lost in scrolling through the feed, you know. So I'm going to try to focus and get a lot done this week. Hopefully you guys are making some progress. I know sometimes over the holidays it's hard to, because people have family and are just busy, you know. And me with having the kids home, it made it a little more difficult. And they're home right now. And so we're going to make some cookies and maybe tie-dye some shirts today. So I hope you guys all have a great week. Keep posting your progress pictures. Cloudy's home. He hasn't been on one of my videos in a long time.
Oh, I like thinking fabric today.
And keep posting your pictures. I want to see them. It's really encouraging to see people working on their quilts and finishing them. So for sure, I will, this month, January, I'll keep posting weekly. After that, we'll see what happens. You guys can definitely keep posting your progress pictures and finished quilts until the next quilt along, or throughout the next quilt along. We'll figure that out when that time gets closer. But I guess I will talk to you guys all later.